Okay, we're going to bring this meeting to order. The Village of Villa Park Village Board of Trustees, regular meeting, November 27th, 2023. Clerk Kornecki, please call the roll.
Trustee Alfano.
Here.
Trustee Cordova.
Here.
Trustee Corkery.
Here.
Trustee Kozar.
Here.
Trustee Kumar.
Here.
Trustee Patrick.
Here.
President Kazone.
Here, will you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and then remain standing. I pledge allegiance to
The flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together this evening. May we have meaningful discussions that will help us to assist our village in these trying times. Help us to make the decisions that will affect the staff, directors, and residents of Villa Park. Guide us through the challenges we face, and may we approach each other with respect and kindness as one group. In your name, amen. Okay, item number 3, amendments to the agenda. Do we have any amendments tonight? Okay, seeing none. Public comments on agenda items. Do we have anyone signed up, Clerk Kornecki?
Cheryl Tucker.
Hello again. I have a question on 9B. I know you're approving the budget for the Sauk Creek Administration tonight. I also understand from what Greg Gola said that we'll be switching in 2024, and now Elmhurst Park District will be the chair of that. I was just wondering, they were talking about a budget thing on looking at a new roof for the clubhouse, and that they spent in 2023 a purchase for banquet furniture. Is there going to be any discussion with them on the golf course being more competitive with the surrounding golf courses for fundraising outings for organizations and the facility rental prices? Seeing, I noticed that the budget went down because of lack of tracking groups for our facility. If we're going to make the improvements on there, is there any in the future budget on how to get more revenue into using our clubhouse and our facilities? I know there's been in past that a lot of people have complained when Villa Park organizations try to use our golf course, that our golf course is way higher than any other of the surrounding area golf courses to use and to have fundraisers at. So I was just curious if we are, now that it's switching back, if they're looking into that on getting better use of our facility, of our clubhouse. That's all.
Thank you. Anyone else, any public comments on agenda items tonight? Okay, we'll go to item 5, public comments on non-agenda items. Anyone signed up? Clerk Kornecki?
No one.
Okay, do we have anyone? Okay. We have no proclamations tonight, so we'll move on to item 7, a consent agenda. Item A is approval of the minutes from November 13th, 2023 Committee of the Whole meeting and the November 13th, 2023 Village Board of Trustees meeting. Item B is a bill listing from the weeks of November 13th, 2023 and November 20th, 23 in a total amount of $1,203,114.62, and a resolution approving a first extended memorandum of understanding between the Village of Villa Park and the Illinois Fraternal Order of Police Labor Council regarding 12-hour shifts. Do we have a motion for the consent agenda? Trustee Kumar? We have a second? Trustee Alfano? Any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, Clerk Kornecki, please.
Okay, Trustee Corkery.
Yes.
Trustee Patrick.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
President Kazone.
Yes. Well, on item 8A is ordinance. Ordinance amending Article 3 of Chapter 2 of the Village of Villa Park Municipal Code, Section 2-308, to require a form of paid leave for village employees. This is a first reading of the ordinance. Manager Harline.
This ordinance amends Article 3 of Chapter 2 of the Municipal Code of the Village of Villa Park by adding a new section 2-308, paid leave required for village employees. The ordinance is presented for first reading. Staff recommends approval of this ordinance at the next regular meeting of the village board. This ordinance was drafted by Village Attorney Wolf. She worked closely with Assistant Village Manager Suzanne McVeigh and used information supplied by IML. They are both here to explain the legislation. There are some details about the final policy to work out, so the staff is not recommending waiving first reading. By that, we mean that the ordinance is ready, but there are there's some parts that will eventually be further ironed out in terms of the final policy of how we apply this. This is primarily giving leave to part-time employees who previous to this did not receive leave from the village and are required to do so under the new legislation.
Okay, thank you. And this is a result of the state legislature that passed the Paid Leave Act, which was fought, I think, by a lot of municipalities and a lot of communities, but it's law right now, and it looks like it was not overturned in the veto session, the 2-week veto session. So, any comments on this? Attorney Wolf?
Yes, thank you. Essentially, what this ordinance will do is, consistent with the act, it will require a form of paid leave for all village employees. One of the mandates under the state law, however, was that the leave that was afforded to employees be on-demand time. So that component of the state law served to be impracticable to municipalities and their operations. And so what this law does is require, consistent with the act, a leave for all employees all regular part-time employees and all full-time employees of the village at a minimum of 1 week. Although I will point out that our policies do provide more leave for its full-time employees than what's required under this ordinance here. And what that does is render the ordinance applicable to the municipality as an employer, as opposed to the more egregious components of the state law. However, it is consistent with the leave that the village will be rendering to its employees.
Okay, thank you.
In addition, just another thing that I would like to point out, this doesn't impact any collective bargaining agreements that are existing, so those benefits that are afforded under, the current village policy, as well as any other agreement or collective bargaining agreement, are not interfered with by this ordinance or the act.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Trustee Kumar.
I have a question. Is this affecting a lot of our employees? Some of them are employees. Like, what percentage can Susan answer? Because I presume she knows.
I don't have a percentage offhand. So the biggest thing that we run into is under the Paid Leave for All Act, park districts are actually exempt. So what this will not cover is our very temporary, part-time, seasonal employees, particularly in the Parks Department, Recreation, our seasonal public works. So everyone else will get some form of paid leave. Our part-time employees at work, probably on an average of like 20 or more hours, but are under full-time status. So the biggest thing we're trying to address is those very temporary seasonal employees that we have that would not be covered under any form of paid leave.
Oh, and they're still, they're not afforded under this?
Under our ordinance. Under the Paid Leave for All Act, they would be.
They would be, so we
Yes.
have to switch them into a paid leave kind of.
So we're passing the ordinance because, and Melissa can certainly provide additional legal expertise, but the way the ordinance or the law is written is that you can pass an ordinance if you have something on the books, and that, I guess, is considered you use your legal,
Yes, thank you.
how you word that.
So if an ordinance exists that provides any form of paid leave to an employer, or that requires any form of paid leave for the employees of an employer, the law is not applicable. So what this ordinance is doing is mandating that the village, as an employer, require that there is paid leave to all of its full-time and its regular part-time employees. So that law will render the state law inapplicable to the village. As Assistant Manager McVeigh was talking about, those certain employees that are more akin to Park District employees will not get the benefits of paid leave, and that is consistent with the provisions of the state law that exempt park districts from the mandates of the law. So although park districts are excluded, school districts are excluded from providing this state law mandated leave, municipalities were not excluded. So because we passed this ordinance, we will now be excluded from the mandates of the law, but what our ordinance is doing is requiring a consistent amount of leave as required under that state law for the regular part-timers and your full-time employees. And in addition, the existing benefits for your full-time employees exceed the benefits that are afforded of the law, that are afforded under the state law. This ordinance will not diminish any of those existing benefits that are currently afforded to your employees. It will only require that your part-timers that currently don't, your regular part-time employees that currently don't get a form of paid leave, that they will now get a form of paid leave in accordance with a policy established by the village as approved by the village board.
So what's happening also is, so the Park District part-timers will also get a form of paid leave henceforth?
Those that work regular hours. So we're still working out the provisions of that part-time requirement. The biggest thing in the law itself, in the Paid Leave for All Act, is that you could call off for any reason. So you could just say, I'm not coming in today, and we wouldn't be allowed to ask you any, questions. By also establishing our policy and this ordinance, we're able to set sort of standards in terms of our regular procedures for requesting time off and accommodating those who need time off. So that's also our goal with this, is to, ensure that we can continue with our emergency operations uninterrupted, police, fire, public works, those sort of things. But we will be allowing, paid time off for our part-time employers, our regular, non-seasonal part-time employees.
Okay. And this is kind of like in our village, it's a little different from other neighboring villages because a lot of them have park districts. So I think they probably do not have to assess or have this same ordinance change or whatever in order to address things.
So
because a lot of the park
A
districts.
lot of municipalities are putting in place similar ordinances.
Okay.
And there was similar guidance from the Illinois Municipal League and other sort of organizations of the like to put in place this or to use home rule exemption. So a lot of municipalities are addressing it in a similar fashion, depending on their particular operations. And for us in particular, I think we agree with the spirit of the law of providing paid time off for people, but recognizing that there are situations where that is, challenging for us as an organization to continue our operations with some of the provisions in that particular law.
Yep.
I guess I would want to know what the percentage of impacted employees, part-time or seasonal or not regular part-time people, and what makes a part-time person versus a not regular part-time person.
Like a seasonal verse. Yeah, I can get you the specific numbers.
Yeah, because if it's a large portion, then it doesn't feel real great that we're,
For the seasonal?
Yeah.
So the provisions under the Paid Leave for All Act are you get 1 hour for every 40 hours worked, if you're following the law as it is.
1 hour of what?
1 hour of paid time off per
Right.
40 hours worked. And that continues to accrue, but you can't use it, I think, for 60 days, or 90 days. So for a number of our seasonal employees, they would never get to use it. And then there's other provisions. So if you're a seasonal employee and you leave and you come back, we have to carry that over for you. And then there's also, I think we're required to pay it out in accordance with our regulations, or is that was unclear in the, go ahead.
Yes, no, you wouldn't have to
Wouldn't
pay
have to
it
pay it
out.
out. You would just have to carry it over.
You would have to carry it over unless you front-loaded the leave.
Yeah.
To all your employees.
So I can get you those specific numbers, but there is a large chunk of like our pool employees, our, referees, all of those people would be considered temporary seasonal that would, get that if they were included under this ordinance.
Okay, any other questions?
Did you have something to add?
No.
Okay.
I think we're good. Thank you. Okay, we'll go down to item 8B is an ordinance approving a variation for side yard setback at 702 South Summit Avenue. Andrew Harline.
An ordinance approving, the petitioner is requesting a variation from Table 2-3 of Article 2, Section 2.3, lot and building regulations of the zoning ordinance to reduce the required minimum side yard setback from 6 feet to 5 feet in order to build a second-story addition. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval 6-0. Staff recommends approval of this ordinance. Our Director of Community and Economic Development, Mr. Mark McLaughlin, is here to answer any questions about the proposed variation.
Okay, thank you. Again, this is, it requires 2 readings unless someone wants to waive the first reading. However,
This can be passed. This doesn't require 2 readings.
it doesn't, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. All right. Okay, can we have a motion then for the ordinance?
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Corkery, second. Trustee Kumar. Okay, questions or comments? Yeah, this is real similar to one that we had a couple of months ago. They're putting a second-story addition on the house. The house itself is legally non-conforming, and it passed pretty easily through planning and zoning, so this is good. Okay, Clerk Kornicki, please.
Trustee Kozar,
Yes.
trustee Alfano,
Yes.
trustee Patrick,
Yes.
trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Corkery.
Yes.
President Kazone.
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to resolutions. Item 9A is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, approving an amendment to an engineering services agreement with Civil Tech Engineering, Inc. of Itasca, Illinois, for Phase 3 construction engineering of the Washington Street Sewer Separation, Phase 1 Monterey Avenue Improvement Project in the amount of $31,800. Mayor Harline.
The village approved an engineering agreement with Civil Tech Engineering for Phase 3 construction engineering for the Washington Sewer Separation Phase 1, AKA the Monterey Avenue Improvement Project, on July 25th, 2022, in an amount of $435,972 due to approved changes to the scope of work for the construction of the project. The time frame for construction was extended beyond what was originally anticipated. This amendment is to include the additional time and services provided by Civil Tech Engineering for Phase 3 engineering on the Washington Street Sewer Phase 1 Monterey Avenue improvement in the amount of $31,800. Staff recommends approval of this resolution. Michael Guerra, Director of Public Works, is here to answer any questions about the proposed amendment to increase the amount of the contract with Civil Tech Engineering. Keep in mind, we recently approved a change order to this project to reduce the construction costs of the project by over $692,000, so we still remain under the total original proposed budget for this project.
Thank you. Okay, do we have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Kumar, do we have a second? Trustee Alfano. Okay, questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, Clerk Kornicki, please.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Corkery.
Yes.
Trustee Patrick.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
President Kazone.
Yes. Okay, item 9B is a resolution approving the annual budget of the Sugar Creek Golf Course for the calendar year 2024. Mayor Harline.
The Sugar Creek Administrative Board recommends passage of the 2024 Sugar Creek Golf Course budget with the proposed expenditures equaling $1,255,910 and proposed revenues equaling $310,462, resulting in a net profit of $54,552. Staff concurs and recommends approval of the resolution. The proposed resolution would approve the annual budget of the Sugar Creek Golf Course as required in the IGA between the two bodies. As it anticipates a $50,000 payment to each of the owners, the Village of Villa Park and Elmhurst Park District. The resolution does not in any way forgive debt to either Villa Park or Elmhurst Park District. The amount owed to the village, I believe, is at $584,951.84, and that's over 3 different projects. The amount to Elmhurst right now is about it's a little under $1.2 million. This is basically pushing that decision on down the road so that we can have further discussion. The other thing is, we would need to have a pretty good idea from our auditor how to register that if we were to forgive it, or if we were to forgive it with the caveat that if the golf course were to sell in the future, that we would then take those 2 debt payments off the top of the sale and then divide the rest of the assets 50/50. So how that would be recorded, it makes a lot of difference in what decision we make about that. We would not have time to parse that out, and I mentioned this 2 weeks ago, but we would not have time to parse all that out in time to approve a budget. So we're just asking for a budget where it assumes an even division of profit to be given to both owners, and with the rest of the budget was provided in the packet. And Greg Gola is here if you have any questions.
Okay, thank you. Okay, do we have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Kumar, do we have a second? Trustee Cordova? Okay, questions or comments? Trustee Cordova?
This net profit of $54,552, how does that get 50,000 for us and 50,000 for them?
Those are both registered as expenses in the, and then this is the net after that, so.
Trustee Kumar?
I'm not averse to passing the budget. That's not my issue here, but the underlying issue of how they're managing their funds is an issue for me. I feel like you could take a longer time to pay back, or you can put interest on the payback, but you should pay back both villages eventually if you're running as a golf course. That is you can't run in the red for a long time. That's just not an efficient business strategy. So it should be paid back eventually in some way or form, even if it's time, effort, whatever we put in, over 30 years, 10 years, whatever. So that's my feeling on how that should be addressed, but that's, a personal opinion. Because I feel that you should know what your real expenses are to run the golf course. That comes with the process of efficient management of the golf course. And I know Elmhurst has been managing it and have been forgiving things, but even they shouldn't be doing that. So, I mean, honestly, I don't mind approving the budget and putting this off, but forgiving things off the top is not something we should be doing if it's not an efficiently run process.
Yeah, and that, like the manager said, that decision will be
Later.
on the road.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? Trustee Kozar?
Sugar Creek's in trouble. I mean, they're making 4% rate of return on their money. That's borderline sustainable. Something's got to be done here. That's just bottom line. It's not going to last. How much acreage is Sugar Creek? Does anybody know that? If you don't, we can find it out after the meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, out of
Don't
that
know.
acreage, though, I think there's only, there's only, 30% is buildable, or 60% is buildable, something like that. There's a lot of wetlands and floodplain there. Okay, anyone else? Okay, Clerk Konecki?
Okay, Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
No.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
President Kazone?
Yes. Okay, move on to item 10A is unfinished business. It's updates on the 2024 budget.
Yeah,
Harley.
I didn't have as much prepared as I'd like to for this, and there'll be more as we get into at the next two meetings in December 11th and December 18th. I did want to make a couple of quick notes. We have a fire engine on order that is shown right now in the 23 budget. That will be moved to the 2024 budget because we don't expect delivery until February, and there's a resolution that will come forward. Basically, it's basically for full disclosure. There's one of the parts that we were the lighting fixture doesn't exist anymore, isn't for sale anymore from what we originally ordered. So there's going to be, instead of a $698,000 bill, it's going to be $704,000. But I'm going to bring that to the board just for floor. That's actually within my scope, but I want you guys to have full visibility on that. And then a couple of other things to make sure you understand. In the next budget, we'll have 39 officers in the commission for the police department. Last year's budget showed 37. We added one mid-year, so it's one more than we have now, but two more than we had on January 1st, 2023. On the rec center, this budget that is in front of you assumes about $5 million will be spent by the end of this fiscal year, and the remaining costs will be carried into next year. And overall, it's a budget that will leave us with a safe amount in our general fund balance, but we anticipated spending some down this year because a lot of projects got delayed, still coming out of COVID, and we made some progress, but we anticipate this rec center and the Lufkin Park to be the majority of the costs to be in next year. So there'll be more information coming as we get forward into it. But if there are any other questions or anything else you guys had interest in, this is also an opportunity for you guys to bring up comments.
Yeah, my only
Cordova.
request would be, thank you, my only request would be to have some kind of version control. I know we change it a little bit, so if it's version 1 or version 2, so that any changes from now until the end of the year, that we kind of can track those.
Yes, and that was one of the things, to make sure that the next versions would show any changes. This version has from the original draft that we showed you on November 16th, the differences here are the allocation of the rec center. There's going to be that change for the fire engine that's not in there, and a couple other minor things that we discovered as we went along. So yes, that's from here to final, any changes, we'll give you a list of bullet points of anything that gets changed from here on out. One of the items that is not in here yet, would like to put in a cabinet, a fireproof cabinet for protection of ordinances. We still have ordinances on site, and right now they're in a less than ideal cabinet.
On the boiler.
Yeah. So there's a couple things like that. That's a minor item compared to the $80 million budget. But
Yeah, there you go. Okay, any other comments? Trustee Alfano.
One question that I have been asked numerous times is we were presented with an underpass study in the budget on November 16th. Can you tell me where that would be in the budget, where that is seen in the budget? Or
Director Guerra has.
Yes, so that is presented actually in our street fund, Fund 60, under engineering services, under non-referendum. There's actually two fundings in the street fund. We did program about 10% with the anticipation of going for some funding from the ICC that has a call for projects due in January. So we are proceeding with that. So we did throw some money, but not all. $500,600 that was originally forecasted, but we did forecast some. So if we do get funding, we can advance that middle of next year to the end of next year.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, anyone else? Okay, move on to item,
If I could, if you do have additional questions or anything, please email, call, whatever, and if you want to just have some time to sit down and talk about the budget one-on-one, please let me know, so we get that taken care of. Make sure that your interests are incorporated to the extent that we can afford them in this year's budget.
thank you. Okay, item 11 is new business. We have one person here tonight, actually two people. John Demerjen, who is rehabbing the building at 212 South Villa Avenue and will be requesting a liquor license. So John, if you'd like to step up and give a little presentation.
Hi, everyone. Hey. I see some familiar faces. This is my wife, Kristen Demerjen, is with us today as well. My name's John Demerjen. We've been a Villa Park residents since 2008. I've had my eye on that building for many years. That's 212 South Villa Park, or Villa Avenue, excuse me, just across from new Villa Park. Say that 10 times fast. My wife and I are both in love with restoring things. We've gotten very involved in the community over the last, 8-9 years since our kids have been in sports and such. I've been coaching the entire time they've been involved. My wife's gotten into it. So we've been spending a lot of time, inside of Villa Park, whereas, we were prior to having kids, we're just working all the time. So now we're embedded in the community, we've got to know everybody, and we like to transform that old building into something that is, new and much more utilized and interesting, and that draws outside interest and dollars, into Villa Park. Our vision for it is to be, the name of it will be the Captain's Room. So it's very classic in terms of the Art Deco style of the building. I don't know if anyone's driven past it recently, but we just put up a bunch of gold leaf wall window art and stuff to kind of go with it. We do all the design and things ourselves. The inside of the building will be, we removed the drop ceiling to create almost 12 feet of space inside there. So it's a beautiful long giant room, and it has so much history in it that we're trying to bring back and include an element. So the primary use, and I'll show some of this today if I can get the pointer to shoot. This is not 100%. Representative. That's a rendering, but the wall art is actually up now. I am not using this very well today, but the idea here is private events. So for people that want to, express a private event that they, there's not a lot of private event spaces here. Also, there aren't any that I'm aware of anywhere in the surrounding area that have a full commercial kitchen involved with them. The concept here is to balance a really swanky kind of lounge style experience with an open kitchen and a food bar, so that, as we have people from our chef advisory, I'm a big cook, a lot of our family friends and the friends that we do business with are in the food industry. We'll be curating food events there that are ticketed. Our occupancy is very small, so they'll be very exclusive, very private. We do not intend to be open every day as a traditional restaurant. We don't have that's not what our intention is. That's not the design for the space. If you look at what's happening on the New York food scene and some of the other food scenes, these are more individualized events that are specific to someone's interest, as well as kind of scheduled events. So several times a year, and hopefully down the road several times a month, we'll be doing kind of like wine tasting events that are curated through an in-house sommelier that we'll have. That's someone that we know very well. There are 257 sommeliers in the United States, and one of them will be dedicated to our space and curating those wines and helping us create those experiences for people that are, very, very unique. And those can be paired with food. Outside food can be brought in. People can, rent a chef if they'd like to have that type of experience, or create a very bespoke experience by sitting down with our team and kind of putting something together that fits exactly what they're looking for. So these are meant to be one-of-a-kind, type things that are very special, and something, we're certainly passionate about. So that's the couple minutes on what the captain's room is. You can surf around in here. We've taken quite a bit of time. My background is in real estate and marketing and a variety of different entrepreneurial aspects, along with my wife's business background. This is, not the first business that we have and won't be the last, but it's something that we think would be very unique and bring a lot of attention, especially with all the new things that are coming to town, especially in the downtown area. We think this is a great and unique fit. So I'd be happy to answer any questions about the space itself or kind of what our intentions are and et cetera. Do I call on you?
Trustee Kumar, go ahead.
No, he does.
Hi.
What did you say the capacity was?
So the occupancy that we were awarded in our planning was 50.
50, okay.
So that's the limitation of the building.
Okay.
And its size and configuration. That's quite a bit of people. I mean,
I love this. Everything
love
about it is awesome. It's unique, and you're right, you have to go to the city for something like this, right? You have
Yep.
like pop-up chefs come in town. I don't know if that's what you're talking about, but, go in, they do a whole concept, they have drinks, the whole thing.
Yep.
And this is in Villa Park, from people in Villa Park. I think that's amazing. That building's really old, hasn't really done a whole bunch in the last, I've been here 14, 15 years. Hasn't done a whole bunch, so I think, was it a bank? I think it was a bank at one point.
yeah, so it was the State Bank of Villa Park, and it was dedicated in 1924. There's a lot of history with that bank. The previous owner, the owner that we purchased it from, Frank Carlson, is a historian in Villa Park, and he works with the Villa Park Historical Museum. I almost said society. I'm not sure if that's the correct nomenclature for it, but I have every bit of the history of that building document. He gave me like 6 banker's boxes of information. Allegedly, it was, not allegedly, but it was documented that it was robbed by Dillinger's gang, not Dillinger himself.
Oh.
We might, we might debate that over cocktails one day.
Good, yeah.
And maybe, whatever. But there's a lot of cool history, associated with it. And I think Frank wanted us to take it on because he saw the vision that we've been talking to him about for several years, and when he was ready, it was available to us to do it. There's a lot of work that's been done, some of which you might have seen over the last year, including replacing 10 squares of concrete out in front. We brought all new plumbing into the building, completely tore off the roof that had not been torn down to the deck in probably 100 years. So there's a brand new, completely modern roof on that, which is not an expense that we were, thinking was going to be part of the renovation. But as you guys get to know my wife and I, we don't do anything half speed. So this is going to be the most bulletproof bank that has been previously robbed. Hopefully that's not the case. We left the bars up just in case, but I think that's adds to the building.
Are you planning on having like your own events or mostly people coming in for events? Like,
Yes.
You
So-
like one monthly?
Great question. I think what will happen is this will evolve as we start putting out a calendar and understanding what the appetite, pun intended, is for these type of events. We'll schedule them out, and we use social media and other forms of advertising to pre-sell those events so that we can understand what the interest level is for those things, and then keep those events and build on those events based on feedback and the success of each of those events. Because our occupancy is at 50, we may decide to do 2 seatings if there's something that's very successful, maybe an earlier 6 to 8 and then an 8 to 10, whatever accommodates the use and whatever's best for, the business and the viability of it, and also, based on, the feedback of what people like and want and so on. So there will be a blend of ticketed events, maybe scheduled events that are out there for the general public to consume tickets for in a pre-sale, type environment, maybe like a seat. And mostly because of the limited occupancy, I just can't have everybody to show up and so on. And then there will be kind of walk-in type events that are in a similar way, like for example, one concept that we very much look forward to doing are like Sunday dinner events, where we'll publish a schedule of Sunday dinner menus over a period of time. People can pre-buy a package of dinner with wine or without, etc., and they'll be able to come and pick that up. If they'd like to come early, they can enjoy a taste of whatever's being served and enjoy a glass of wine and look at the vault. There are 2 vaults. I don't know if anyone's ever been in this building before, but there are 2 about 10 by 10 vaults reinforced with 2.5 feet of reinforced concrete. Not really easy to drill through to get access for power and such, but we've figured it out. The upstairs one does not have the original vault door on it. I'm sure that was sold years ago. But we do have the locking mechanisms. We're going to incorporate that, for a historical element. The downstairs vault is entirely intact. And quite creepy in its current state. But it does have the original vault door and the interior door, which will be cleaned up and modified, and we'll do little tours and things down there.
Trustee Kumar.
I just love the fact you're selling these experiences through your product that you're developing within this space. It's very nice for Villa Park to get something like this. It's definitely needed, and thank you for contemplating business in Villa Park.
Thank you. I'm not used to having such a warm response to village meetings.
Trustee Alfano.
We were fortunate enough during the trick-or-treat event, you were open and we did get kind of a glimpse. It was a very short glimpse, but we did get a glimpse of what you were working on in there, and it already looked pretty great at that moment.
Well,
so thank you for bringing this ingenuity, and it looks like something that will definitely have a lot of interest. And I know that I have gone into the city to have dinner in a vault, and it's much closer to home to be able to do something like this.
For claustrophobic people, it's probably not the most fun
it was an
but-
experience. We did it once. It's like a one and done kind of a thing in the city. But, when it's down the street from you, it's a completely different experience, so.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Any other questions we can answer? I'm happy to follow up with
Looking
anyone.
forward to the opening. We're,
Very great.
Are you going to get a full liquor license or just beer and wine?
Yeah, it's a full liquor license is what we're looking for, inclusive of packaged liquor, because some of the experiences, or many of the experiences, will likely include curated wine collections and things, and the vault itself upstairs. I didn't get that far with that. The vault upstairs is going to be its own wine cellar. So that'll have a door, on it, and it'll be its own wine cellar where we'll serve wines from it, but we'll also showcase wines that can be bought as package, either in supplement to whatever someone's buying or specific to, an event, or if someone's wanting to upgrade the dinner that they may be having or the event they may have, they can buy a really nice bottle of wine to, treat their family and friends and whatnot. So that's what we're seeking.
Good.
And my understanding is that's a combined license at this point. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay.
That's it. Feel free to reach out with questions, and you can look at this website. We are not advertising this website, but it is open for people to look at. It's 95% put together, and the gallery shows examples of the types of food, and you can also look at some of who are the chef advisors and get to know some of the people that will be helping put events together and also doing some of the cooking and whatnot. This is all food that my wife and I have prepared for private events that we've done for friends and family and so on over the years. I'm going to close this because I'm getting hungry.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Good luck. Okay, we'll move on to item 12, are the Village Commission reports, the Community Fund Commission, Environmental Concerns Commissions with the Bike, Pedestrian, and Transit Subcommittee minutes, Parks and Rec Advisory Commission, and the Planning and Zoning Commission, which are all in the packet. Item 13, the village clerk's report.
No report.
Okay.
Thank you.
Village trustees report, we will start on our left. Trustee Alfano.
Oh, thank you. I just wanted to remind everybody about December 2nd with our holiday traditions, our Joyful Traditions celebration coming up. The Prairie Path looks great. Thank you to our Public Works. I know that they're a part of that. I also know that we have other people in the village that come out for that, and also some high schoolers that come out to help us put the lights on. So thank you to everybody who made the village look great. I wanted to say thank you and congratulations to Willowbrook on a fantastic musical. They did The Little Mermaid. It was fantastic. So thank you for that. And that's all that I have this evening. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Kumar.
I actually have nothing this evening.
Okay. Trustee Corkery.
No reports this week.
Trustee Patrick.
Thank you. I just want to wish everybody, I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. A few more weeks and we've got Christmas right around the corner. I'd like to personally thank our fire department. Recently, there was an emergency call on our block, and it drew some attention. We've got a lot of kids on our block, too. And all the kids started kind of gathering around just to see the fire trucks and the ambulance go by. And after the call had ended, some of the firefighters stayed behind to pass out the helmets and the badges and take pictures with the kids. They really enjoyed that. I really appreciate the effort that your department makes being visible in public like that, and especially reaching out to our youth. So thank you for that. That's all I have.
Okay. Trustee Cordova.
Yeah, Bob Wagner from the Environmental Concerns Commission sent me a note. He's not able to make it, but I have a couple items here. The Environmental Concerns Commission has a Christmas tree on a Prairie Path that's going to be directed by the Eco Club from North School on Tuesday. Also, they're going to be collecting plastic bags at Joyful Traditions for D45 Next Treks project to obtain benches made from recycled plastic bags, which sounds awesome. There was a successful pumpkin smash on November 4th. They had 77 families come in. And they collected 3.27 tons of pumpkins that were taken to be composted, which sounds like a lot. And then between January and March, there's the opportunity to nominate a deserving Villa Park resident or Villa Park business for the Green Champion Award. They have some more information on the website, which is invillapark.com, 260 Environmental Concerns Commission. You can find it through there. That's it.
Okay. Trustee Kozar.
Just a reminder that Coffee with the Board is this Saturday. So great place to come and have kind of an informal conversation. Anybody who hasn't been there, please come. The more the better. And that's pretty much it.
Okay, thank you. I don't really have much. That was going to be one of my things today, but hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving holiday, and we'll see you this Saturday at Coffee with the Board, and also the Joyful Traditions, which begins at 4 o'clock. 4. On the Prairie Path, and Santa Claus will make his appearance later that evening, so hope to see everybody then. Hopefully we get some good weather for that. We move to the village manager's report.
I don't really have much. Any questions or comments about the upcoming budget, please let me know. I'm just going to leave it at that. We should have a closed session on the meeting after the 11th. Just update on follow up on the previous topics and the minutes. So.
Okay. We have no executive session tonight, so we have a motion to adjourn. Trustee Cordova?
Motion to adjourn.
We have a second. Trustee Kumar? All in favor?
Right.
Aye.
Okay.
I think it's a record.
Okay. Thank you, and we'll see everybody back here December 11th, or we'll see you Saturday.
Wow, 50 minutes?